Yankee and the Brit's the place to be. Radio living is the life for me. Airwaves spreading out so far and wide. Keep your FM, just give me that internet side.
Online is where I'd rather stay. I've got a lot of music to play. I just adore a Yankee view. Darling, I love you, but give me a show to do.
The Chat.
The Brats.
On air.
That's fair.
You are my wife.
Goodbye, British life.
The Yankee and the Brit on air.
Hello.
Hello, this is the Brit.
This is the Brit, and how may the Brit help you?
This is Billy Kelley.
Oh,
I was
hello.
destined to call in tonight for the Saturday Night Country Show.
That would be us.
That would be you. All right. I've got like 2 minutes on my phone battery, so no, I'm just teasing. got at least 5 or 10, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, I think you better start talking pretty fast, and you got a lot to say in a short amount of time.
Yes.
How are you there, Mr. Kelley? What's going on, and where are you?
I'm doing good tonight. I'm close to Atlanta, Georgia, a little town called Canton, Georgia.
Well, that's too close to the big city, ain't it?
Well, I'm about 45 miles north, so we're out in God's country still.
You mean Atlanta ain't growed up that big yet, huh?
Well, it's just according if you go far enough for the street lights. And,
yeah, I've been through there.
It's big enough. It's big enough for sure.
I bet, man. I haven't been through there in quite a number of years. I can imagine what it looks like now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Too
So
much
how
city
you guys
for me.
doing?
Doing good. Just sitting around here waiting to break our jaw with you.
Waiting to chew your ears off.
Nisi says hello, Billy.
Hello, Nisi. I'm not online, so I don't know. I can't see what's going on that side of it. But hello, Nisi. I think maybe I've got my mom, Pat, may be listening. A good friend, Joe Williams, may be listening.
Awesome. Hey,
I don't know.
we just played. What did we just play right now? You're going to have to remind me because I've got a memory like a sieve. What did we just play? We just played.
Your memory's about worthless. All Again.
All Again. Tell me about All Again. I kind of like that tune.
All Again. Is that what you just played?
We did.
Okay. That I've always did cover tunes, cover songs. And I say always. It's not been a long time, but All Again. I decided one day I had this little medley in my head, and I thought, I'm copying all these other people doing their music. It'd be neat to have something of my own. And that probably wasn't the first song I came up with, but that little medley was in my head for a long time. And, the storyline with the song, it's all about kind of growing up, coming of age, and having your own kids, and then moving on and the process of life. The girl I call my wife now, we dated and run around, and we've been 28 years this past April.
Wow,
So,
congratulations.
You get less for murder.
Yeah. We've got 2 little grandbabies, 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter. And if we're not completely happy and content with where we're at, I've always felt content enough to where I wouldn't want to go back and change anything in fear of changing everything. So basically that song is kind of, I would do it again, all again, if given a chance. So
well, let's go back in time here just a little bit. How old were you when you got into music? I started wanting to play music. I turned 51 this year, and our youngest son is 11. So about the time he was born, I decided I wanted to play music in a band, and never really was that good at it, and may not be still. But my wife was going through the postpartum stuff with having a child, and here I was wanting to become a big country star. Well, it sounds like you're well on your way.
Well, it's been a long road, and I've probably surpassed any of my wildest imagination on doing things that I've done. We've I've been in a couple of pretty, and for my level of musicianship and singing, I've been in a couple of really good bands, and for whatever reason, they're like being married to several people at once, and it doesn't always work out. And,
oh my gosh, can you imagine 3 wives?
Oh God, no, no. But the band thing, we just, it's just something my grandfather used to, he'd play around on the guitar, and my grandmother, and he had old reel-to-reel recorder. He would sit and he'd write these songs, and he would record and sing. And I remember being pretty young, probably 12-year-old. He'd come in there with pots and pans from the kitchen, and he'd say, "Here, take these and beat on them, and give me a beat." And I wasn't a drummer anyway, but that's kind of stuff. Looking back now, I should have really latched a hold of that and ran with it, because he had a desire that he could have instilled in me, I think, at a young age. And he passed away probably when I was 18, and I got one of his guitars that he'd had for a long time. And, me and a couple of friends, we would get around and play. I don't know if I could play a complete song until 10, 12 years ago. But we would do it, and we would, it was just fun sitting around, grill out on the grill and have some hamburgers or hot dogs. And talking with a friend of mine online just a while ago, his brother, his name was Wade Williams. He was really good, and I looked up to him a lot and learned more from him than I realized. And I realize now where I'm at now, what he was probably feeling and dealing with, and he's passed on several years ago. And I wish sometimes him and my grandfather and other people that's gone on, I wish they were around now, because I would hope they would be proud of what I've done, and hopefully I've still got a lot to do. So,
well, they say that it's never too late to learn, and you ain't forgot none of that stuff about him, so I'd say it ain't too late. And from what I hear, your music sounds pretty damn good, so I don't see any problems with any of that.
I think he taught that.
I think he taught you more than you realize.
Well, and I'm realizing that now, and that's I guess one thing with life that we do learn. We realize things usually after the fact, and when it's too late. But you can only keep going forward.
That's right.
My philosophy, and I say the windshield is so much bigger than the rearview mirror, because what's ahead of you is more important than what's behind you.
That's right.
So I'm hoping, I'm just kind of an indie artist and play some. I love playing in a band. I'm not a solo guy for sure, because I can't support myself musically like I need to be with a band. But I would love to move forward and advance more. And we all have aspirations to do bigger and better things. And like I say, if I don't do anything else, I've done more than I ever thought I would. Could have even imagined I would have did.
Would you like to be famous?
I don't want to be famous. I would like to pay all my bills on time and fill my tank up and go fishing and hunting and take time off work, not worry about missing a paycheck. Is that famous?
That's famous enough for me.
You're doing better. Y'all's doing better than the Yanki and the Brit, I'll tell you that.
That's about as famous as we'd ever like to get.
No, I would love to see this country, and I do construction work for a living, and sometimes that puts me driving a truck, a big tractor trailer, or big trucks. And I've always said I would love to be a truck driver, over-the-road truck driver, for maybe 3 or 4 weeks. That would take me out to the West Coast and maybe up the coastline and get me back home, and I'd probably have all that I would want. So, the lifestyle that it takes to be famous or a big music artist, it's pretty demanding.
Well, yeah, I can tell you all about that truck driving thing. It's pretty stressful, I'll tell you that.
I always get that California howdy, you know, the one finger wave. That's what.
Yeah, you might get it quite a few times, a little more than you expect.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You are you playing out anywhere now?
I don't have really anything. We're going to do a couple benefits and stuff. I don't have a lot lined up. I'm transitioning our band that I was in and had. It used to be it was Billy Kelley and High Ridge, and we've kind of, I don't know, kind of like a divorce thing, I guess, with the four other people or three other people. Is you just kind of. A friend of mine said the definition of insanity is, you know, doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. And you know, I've made a lot of friends with the music and the band thing, but you know, it's obvious that their direction and their interest are different than mine. So I'm kind of in a transitioning period, I think, to where I'm wanting to regroup. Someday I would maybe like to get into some, you know, have some kind of management or agent type thing that would help, you know, promote me and push me and drive this thing a little better. I'm not too up on a lot of it and don't know all the ins and outs.
Would you like to travel with your band? I mean,
you know, it's kind of funny. If my wife and my young kid could travel along with me, I would love to. And I realize there's lots of times they could, and then sometimes they wouldn't be able to. He's in school and playing football. We just got home from a football game earlier, and we really enjoy watching him do that because he loves it and does really good with it.
Where did you record these songs that we've got here? They sound great.
A guy in Atlanta, Georgia, and I guess I can go ahead and plug his studio for him. It's called 800 East Studios. The guy's name is King Gregory, and he is. It was funny because a drummer friend of mine knows him and introduced me to him and got me into the studio, and sitting and talking with him, I noticed on his walls this multi-platinum album on the wall, and it's Zach Brown. I'm like, wow, that's cool. I said, has Zach Brown ever been here? And he said, well, you know, he did his last album here. And I think some of the engineers there are really close with Zach Brown. And this has been over a year now, but it hasn't helped me any. I've not heard from Zach Brown yet.
Well, you might be surprised. You never know.
Well, that would be cool if I could maybe. I don't know for sure if one of these songs would suit him or not, but you know, he's one of those artists that can do pretty well with whatever he touches. Seems like.
It'd be cool if we could get him on the show.
That would be.
Yeah, maybe be a big surprise for us.
Billy who? Billy who?
Exactly.
Just remember, I plugged you guys for him to hear this out on the airways somewhere. Someone's telling him at this moment. There's some guy, don't know who he is, and he's talking to Yanki and Brit.
Who are they?
He's talking about you. And
come on, Mr. Brown, get it together. Give us a call.
Yes.
So, do you write all your own music?
I did these. I don't know how many songs you guys had gotten. Probably 2 or 3.
Yeah, 3.
Those were the ones I went into the studio down there and did. I've got a couple more, and I've got several started. You know, I don't know if there's an easy way to write a song. I don't know if there's a certain method to writing. It just, I'm not a songwriter, but I've been able to write some, I guess, and I would love to pursue it. And it's really hard to gather my thoughts. I can't go and sit down and say I'm going to write a song today. You know, it just has to be something that comes to me, and you know, I need some kind of inspiration for it, and it doesn't happen every day. You know, it may not happen, you know, in a week or a month, but I enjoy it, and it's kind of neat to tell a story that, you know, somebody can relate to. My song All Again, the line where it says the kids have all grown and moved away, you know, and a friend of mine, his daughter had just gotten married and had a baby, and he said, man, that part of that song hits home. And so, you know, if they can relate to it, that's kind of special. Just that's what you want to achieve, or I would. That's what I look for. Hopefully somebody can relate to it, and it'll, if it doesn't, they won't remember it.
Yeah, I don't know anything about writing songs, but it seems to me they just seem to come from the heart.
I think mine kind of do.
Life and experience.
You know, yeah, and most of them are centered more around, you know, my marriage, or I relate to lots of songs I can hear, and it may not pertain to my life or my situation, but I can hear that song and imagine that's how I would feel if I was in that situation that the song is talking about. And it's just, music is something that everyone can relate to.
Awesome. Is there anything that's happened in your life that has determined what kind of style you do, what style of music you do? You know, is there any influences along the way that has steered you in a particular direction?
I would, Waylon Jennings and Merle Haggard, you know, the people that, when I was 15 and 16-year-old, and my mom would turn on the radio or shove the 8-track tape in the player, and you're listening to these, you know, these old country songs, and I'm sitting there trying not to puke over it. I'm thinking, my God, put on some rock and roll. You know, I grew up when Def Leppard and Bon Jovi and all those guys. That's when I was coming of age. When you know, those people were coming around and big, and you know, always like the older rock, Rolling Stones and Bad Company, and you know, I was a rock and roller, long hair, but I don't know when it happened for sure, but somehow a switch got flipped, and all of a sudden I'm like, wow, man, I love this old country music, you know, Waylon, Willie, and Johnny, and Merle, and Confederate Railroad is probably to this day one of my favorite groups. You know, the steel guitar, and it's just cool.
Awesome. So, is there any kind of music that makes you want to dance around like a crazy lunatic?
I'm not a dancer, so probably not, unless it's.
Does it make you seem like you need medical help when you dance?
Oh. I don't dance, so.
So you don't have to worry about a doctor.
That's true. You know, I joke and kid, and I tell people, I say, well, I started playing music because I want to be involved, but I don't dance. So, you know, if you can't be on one side of the floor, you need to be up on the stage or on the other side, you know, providing the stuff to let people dance. And I don't dance. I used to think I would like to dance, and I watch people dance, and I think, man, be honest with you, sometimes it looks funny to me. It's hard to be up on stage playing for people in a little dance hall in a honky tonk or something, and see the people like you're talking about dancing around, you know, and then doesn't have a care in the world. I wish I could do that.
That's what those nights are all about, though. Get out there and forget about the rest of the world, and don't worry about what anybody thinks.
Well, that's true, and that's like I say, I wish I could, but I can't. And so it's like singing. Up until probably 10 years ago, I wanted to sing. I love singing. I could sing going down the highway in the car, you know, or listen to radio. But if I were in front of anyone trying to sing, it's just kind of like my voice would crack, and I couldn't get it to come out hardly. It was, even now, if we go out and do a show somewhere, you know, that first song is the hardest one for me. Just, you know, if you get through it and people, you know, respond and respond well, you know, or positively, then
then I'm okay. I'm thinking, okay, we got this now. We can get through the night.
Is there anything that you do in particular to overcome that first song?
You know, I'm a man of faith, and I never go out and do anything unless I ask the man above to help me get through it. And you know, I don't know if the good Lord loves honky-tonk music or not. Some people tell you he doesn't, but you know, if I'm not trying to get somebody to go out and shoot and murder or kill someone or, you know, do bad things, I don't know if, you know, a good old love song can't be a bad thing, can it?
No. Heavens no. Hey, Nisi,
So,
let me interrupt a second. Nisi wants to know, Billy, did you know Bo Hazard is from near Canton?
I did not know. I've seen his videos and know he's a member with the Echota Records. I think he may be up around Calhoun, Georgia, which isn't very far from me. It's 30 miles maybe, but he's a really good artist. That's the kind of thing. That's the level I want to get at. be a Bo Hazard.
Oh, I say you'll get there a lot sooner than you think.
Well,
Yes,
I sure hope so. We, you know, I've been fortunate enough to do a few opening shows for, you know, some bigger, older bands that used to be big time, and you know, that's always a good fun night.
You have any hobbies or anything?
Just music, I guess. You know, since it's not paying bills, it's a hobby, I guess, and it costs me money. So,
Yeah.
my music is my hobby. Gosh, I love to fish, but I haven't been fishing in a long time. My oldest son, he loves fishing, and you know, I need to get out and fish with him more because he would go anytime I wanted to.
Might be a good place to sit and write some of them songs in your head.
Yeah, it would be. You know, I'm like most anybody that writes songs or wants to write or poetry or anything. You know, I'll have a thought in my head, and I'll tell myself I need to go write that down somehow, some way, and then I'll convince myself you'll remember that. But
And then you don't?
There's no telling how many gold records I've thrown away.
Yeah, I'm the same way, man. If I don't write it down and forget about it, I'll never remember it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, where's my glasses at? And, well, they're on your head, you know?
Yeah. Oh, man. Got any hopes and dreams for the future besides becoming quite the musician?
Well, just longevity in life and health is the biggest thing. Like I say, I've just passed over the half-century mark, and you know, there's things I want to be able to do when I get old and retire. You know, I'd love to go up in the mountains and sit back and, you know, watch the wildlife and, you know, have the kids bring the grandkids by and stay a few hours and then leave with them. But no.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
No, we love our grandkids. We love our kids too. We've been blessed with good kids and good, healthy grandbabies.
It's funny.
Feed them with lots of chocolate and send them away hyperactive. Isn't that what you do?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with doing that. I don't.
Willy Wonka would love you.
Yeah, he would. I love chocolate myself, so I can't. You know, if I eat it, I have to give it to them too, right?
It's funny that you changed over to country like that because, like you said, you know, you grew up with the rock and roll and things, and that was the same way with me in the 70s. It was all rock and roll, the Stones, the Who, you know, Van Halen and all that through the 80s, and the rock kept coming. And when I started trucking toward the end of the 80s, I drove for about 20 years over the road. And a friend of mine who drove for the same company got me started on that 90s country, and I pretty much never looked back. And it dawned on me one day that my mom, when I was a little kid, had Jim Reeves and Elvis and all these old albums laying around the house, and I'd really actually had a good taste of country music when I was little and didn't even realize it. And when he turned me on to the 90s country, it was like, yeah, this stuff's good, you know. And then it started to get into the 2000s, and it's all seemed to gone downhill now. But now that we're doing independent artists like you and all these ones that we have on the show every week and things, I'm all about the country music now because, you know, you guys are back to the real stuff. It's good music. It's got a story. It's got some great music behind it. You know, it's written by the artist. It's a lot of good stuff.
Yes. Well, I appreciate it. I thank you guys for having me on. This is a treat, and I don't know if I told you, but this, and anyone's listening maybe, this is my first ever radio interview.
Hopefully it's a memorable one. We've been pretty tame with you.
It's time to get out there. Time to get out and sow
you.
your oats.
Yeah, I thank y'all for taking it easy on me.
So far.
I'm sitting here sweating, thinking, "Oh my God, what am I going to talk about?" And,
well, that's the thing.
Classic cars, you know, or something. And get back to the country music thing. I was, I started liking it, you know, the Hank Jr. stuff and the Waylon, and then all of a sudden here comes this guy down the road from me, not very far. You know, his name was Alan Jackson, singing about our Chattahoochee River, you know, and I'm thinking, that's cool, and he's local. And then here comes a guy named Travis Tritt, and thinking, wow, he's closer even, you know, and they did did very well for themselves and
Sure.
put out tons and tons of great music, probably, you know, a couple, you know, as good as they come, you know, as far as songwriters and artists, all wrapped up in one. And so it's, you know, it just shows me there's hope for anyone. You know, I think more times than not, it's about being at the right place at the right time.
What do you think of the music industry today?
I don't think much of it. For those who aren't listening, I don't want them to be mad at me. It's, you know, I saw something that it talked about the award show that happened a few months back. You know, for them to not even acknowledge people like Glenn Campbell and, gosh, who all have we lost, you know, in the last year? There was lots of them, and they'd make no mention of them. And, you know, they're bringing hip-hop artists in. And, you know, I don't even know if they have award shows for the rappers and the hip-hoppers. But if they do, they don't incorporate the country artists in with them, you know, because their fans would turn the channels and not watch. And they've infiltrated us with that kind of stuff. You know, if I want to hear pop and rap, I'll switch it over to one of those stations. If, you know, I want to hear good country music, and there's very little real country that you'll hear anywhere on mainstream radio anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
It's sad. It is sad.
To break that cycle, but it ain't easy, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that's down to the artists themselves, or do you think that's down to, you know, them
To
being,
the industry.
to the industry, molding them into what they want them to be?
Oh, it's the industry. It has to be the industry. And there are some artists that are taking advantage of it because they don't fit either side. But here's an industry that's, you know, says, hey, we've got a place for you right here. And, you know, I guess it's kind of like with NASCAR. You know, you take a team that has 3 drivers and 3 cars, they've got their golden child that they're going to support more than the others and put their better equipment into it. So, yeah, I know the industry drives everything that we hear. You know, the artists are just puppets, and I guess that goes back to the question, would I like to be famous? At what price is my question, I guess. What would it cost me? Because I don't want to sell myself out completely.
Well, you know, there's some people that we've had on this show that are so hungry for it, and you know, they don't mind selling themselves because they want their fame, they want the glory, they want the name in the lights, and they don't mind selling themselves. They are completely comfortable with it. But some people have said, I am not selling myself for nothing. You know, this is who I am. This is the music I play. So, you know, we've had people on different sides of the fence when it comes to that question. Hey, look in the chat room. You have someone called Brenda Wood Sweatman in the chat room. The Sweatmans.
Brenda Wood Sweatman.
Yeah, she says, Brenda the Sweatmans in, oh my gosh, how do you say that? Kusawati.
Kusawati.
Yeah.
Can you believe the Brit pronounced the southern word the proper way?
And Grant Daniels is here too.
Well, hello to all the folks that are there. Like I say, I'm just on my home line because my cell phone. See, I'm so far from the city. I say it's my Green Acre farm, but my Green Acre phone. I almost had to go climb a pole to talk on my cell phone. So I decided I would give you guys a call on the landline tonight.
Are you far enough away from the city you don't have Thanksgiving out there?
Well, we have Thanksgiving. We usually hunt our own food, though.
I suppose being that close to the city, you're probably surrounded by turkeys anyways.
Yeah, well, we love the ham. We love honey-baked ham.
Baby.
That's my poison. Yeah, like you say, there's plenty of turkey all year round. So
you need to come on down to Texas. You can hunt all the hogs you want for free.
My oldest son, went hog hunting today with some buddies of his. I haven't had a chance to talk with him, see how he fared on that, but
we got them everywhere.
Hunting.
You can't take enough of them down here. They're more than willing to let you come. Just have all you want.
Oh, well, I tell you what, if I get to ride on my big Prevost bus out west, maybe I can stop in a little town called, is it Bell, Texas?
Bells, Texas.
Where?
Bells. That's right. Bells.
Bell, Texas.
Like ding-dong bells.
Okay. We'll just ride straight out to Bell, Texas in my Prevost and get out and go hog hunting.
I want to come in and have a look at that bus before you go too far. Probably be better sleeping in there than it is in my nasty old bed.
You mean I'm going to lose my husband to a bus?
The guy I work for, he owns a Prevost. It's a big motor coach. I mean, it's super nice. I've stood in it once and looked in, and we had an opportunity to do an opening show for the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band up in. Here's another Southern Indian word for you: Hiawassee, Georgia.
Hiya who?
Hiawassee. We call it Hiawassee, but it looks like it would be pronounced Hiawassee. Hiawassee.
Forget it, Brit.
Yeah, but anyway, he let us take his Prevost and had one of the drivers drive us up to that show, and we pulled in. Our bus was probably nicer than the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band's bus.
Oh.
And, you talk about a memory. That one will last forever. And people asking, "What band are you guys with? What band are you with?" And it was just neat. It was a moment, that's for sure.
What band are you with? I am the band.
Yeah.
And then they go, you say, I'm Billy Kelley, and they go, who?
Yeah. Well, and at the time it was just a High Ridge band, and we stopped at a little restaurant when we got close to where we were going, and you don't have them out where you're at, I don't think. Zaxby's. It's a chicken fast food chain.
No, I haven't seen any around here anywhere.
Man, they're good. We have lots of them here in Georgia, but so we stopped there to get our lunch on the way up, and it was one of those things. One of the girls asked their guitar player, "What band are you with?" And he's like, "We're with High Ridge up here. We're opening for Nitty Gritty." And it was. I don't know. That's something. I'm always pretty humble, and it's kind of hard to get on that wave and ride it for me. I was thinking, it's kind of embarrassing, I guess, in a way, but it was neat too.
Well, I can relate
riding
to you.
the bus. The bus was pretty nice.
I can relate to that if folks don't mind me giving a short story. But when I was driving truck, I had my hair down and I always wore a white hat, and I looked a lot like Alan Jackson at first glance. And I remember going in this truck stop one time, and I couldn't begin to tell you where it is, but it may be South Carolina, North Carolina, somewhere over there. And this one woman, this one waitress back in the back had looked over, and she thought for sure I was Alan Jackson. And she sent some other waitresses over there to talk to me and find out who it was and all that. And, I told them, I said, "You tell her I'm not Alan Jackson. I couldn't sing like him if I wanted to, And Then eventually she come out and she apologized for making a big scene over it and all that because everybody was wondering what was wrong with her. And she ended up buying me dinner to make up for it. You know, she apologized, bought me my dinner and everything. But it was like, yeah, I know what you mean about that little moment, that little spark of fame there. It's like, man, I don't know if I can do that all the time. It's crazy.
And then you got people like Alan Jackson that would look at her and say, shoot, I wish I was him, you know. They play it off the opposite way. So, yeah.
So have you got your music out anywhere? Is it on Facebook? Is it on iTunes or anything?
I don't have it on iTunes. Actually, I don't really have a video for any of them, so I don't have them on my Facebook. That's the things I've got to get in order and start pushing forward. Like I say, my band, I had no one seemed really interested in doing original music, and didn't, you know, you couldn't go out and do original shows at the dance halls because people, they want to hear something they're familiar with and something they recognize. And it was just hard to get the time into practice and working full time. And, you know, the people in the band are kind of scattered out, you know, 30, 40 miles apart sometimes. And it was, it would be neat to take 6 months and do nothing but music, be able to practice and write and work it and get it tight and get it ready and, you know, try it in a different way than what I've been doing.
Well, you better get on it.
I need to. I do have a Billy Kelley music page, a Facebook page. It doesn't have a lot of information yet. I've got to build upon that. You can find me BillyKelley.net. That's BillYKelley at .net. And if you get on there, you can find, I've got a YouTube channel, you know, with some cover tunes and things on some videos, but I've got to start pushing Billy Kelley.
Well, we love the songs we got here. We played tonight. They are all great. You sound fantastic. I don't see any issue.
I thank you for that. I say I think I go back and forth. My favorite, or ones I like best, I guess it's according to what day it is. But you know, the All Again is good because it's kind of a more personal thing with family and contentment with the life. But then the Drive Me Crazy song, you know, anytime I do get to do it, I tell people, yeah, I wrote this about my wife, you know, and so they start laughing a little bit because they think it's going to be a funny song because she drives me crazy, you know, batty crazy. But you know, it's a good crazy, and it never really a bad crazy.
You want to see what crazy is? Marry a Brit.
Excuse me.
All right, cut to a commercial. Cut to a commercial, guys. There's going to be a fight on that end. No.
We wouldn't have it any other way, let me tell you that one.
Well, if you got anything you'd like to add, anything else you'd like to say, I got a couple questions I'd like to ask you, and then we'll let you go.
Well, you know, I just want to thank Niecy Howard with the Choda Records. She's really worked hard helping me out and trying to get me on these interviews and things, and hopefully, you know, we'll continue to go forward and build upon what she's trying to help me get going. And all the artists with the Choda Records, there's lots of great ones. I don't know any of them personally yet, and hopefully we'll get to meet them. But just want to thank my wife for always standing beside me. She's always helped me and encouraged me a lot, even when I didn't think I should keep going. And, you know, there's, I guess with everything, the emotions you go through, you know, you think, you know, it's not worth it. Just don't. I need just to sell everything, my guitars and the sound equipment, and quit. And she always encourages me. So,
yeah, it's a good woman, and they're hard to come by.
Yes, they are. And
I didn't say I didn't have one. I just said they was hard to come by.
But I'm just grateful for all my family, my friends, my faith in Jesus, and I'm grateful for y'all taking time to let me be on your show.
Oh, we're more than glad to have you. Sound like a great fella. Well, let me ask you a couple questions here, and then we'll let you go, and
Randy's
you can go.
Random questions.
Okay.
Number one, what's your favorite word?
Favorite word? Dadgum. That would be as good as any, I guess.
Dadgum, is that a word?
Dadgum.
That covers
is that
about
one word
everything.
or two?
I'd say yes.
Okay, we'll just say daggone.
What's your
I
least?
would say, now this is my catchphrase, is kind of, what in the world? What in the world you talking about?
I think my grandpa used to say, "What in Sam Hill?"
Yeah, Sam Hill, and you wait just a John Brown minute.
There you go. Man, I missed that one. Forgot all about that.
And I would say, what the bloody hell is that? You're off your flipping rocker.
Number 2, what's your least favorite word?
Maybe the F-bomb,
There you go.
honestly. Cringe sometimes.
What turns you on?
My wife,
What turns you off?
work,
What sound do you love?
music.
What sound do you hate?
That's a hard one.
You did say you might learn a few things about yourself tonight.
Well, that's true. That's true. Let's see. What sound do I hate?
Uh-oh. That was a bit of an evil laugh. Have you?
I think he's learning
Yeah.
something.
Are you thinking naughty things behind there?
No. That was. Oh, goodness gracious. I know I have one. Maybe we're out of sweet tea. How about that?
That ain't a good thing, is it? I ain't never been to the South where I ain't had some sweet tea, so that'd be all kinds of wrong.
Yeah, that's a bad sound to hear.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you. What's your favorite drink?
Favorite drink?
Sweet tea.
Sweet tea.
I figured that one out pretty quick. What profession other than yours would you like to attempt? Now we know you want to be a musician, but maybe.
Well, I was going to say that musician.
Well, let's say other than construction, though. If you couldn't do music, what else would you like to do?
Oh goodness.
Yeah, he wouldn't like to be famous like us.
Like you?
Yeah. I'd like to have. I'd like to be a radio host.
No, you wouldn't.
Yay!
There you go. Just asking the Brit, was that the right answer?
That is the absolute correct answer.
Okay.
I guess you scored all the
right.
points you need.
Okay.
What profession would you not like to do?
Not because I don't respect them, but I would not want to be a policeman just because of the lack of respect they have and their job that they have to. It's a no-win situation usually for those guys.
That's right. And the last one, number 10, the big finale. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you get to the pearly gates?
Come on in.
There you go. That's it. I'm done.
Yep.
What
You're
do you
done?
got to add, Brit?
Yes, I'm done too. Is there anything that you'd like to add before we flush you down the Yankee and the Brit toilet?
Oh, that's the sound I didn't want to hear.
Oh. I'm sorry, but everybody goes down there. Everybody that comes on our show goes down the Yankee and the Brit toilet. I take great pleasure in pulling that chain.
Well, give me just a short minute or two. If anyone's listening and they haven't went to Billy Kelley music page, Billy Kelley Music on Facebook, if you would go in there and hit the like button, I would be most grateful to you. And thank you for having me all again. Maybe I can come back again sometime.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can call anytime you like.
I hope I have a lot more to learn about myself and lots more to talk to you about. And maybe I'll tell you, where some music can be bought.
Yes.
And, send me a message on the messenger, and I can self-address stamp some envelopes and send you some CDs that way if you'd like to have them.
Sure.
Hey, I would autograph every single one.
If you autograph it, one's going on the Yankee and the Brit Wall of Shame, that's for sure.
Well, I might as well be on yours. I'm on mine, right?
Tenfold.
Yes, we have a huge wall of shame where all of our shameful music goes on, all our karaoke tunes that we sing, all of the CDs that people send that we don't flush down the toilet, all of the things end up on that wall of shame.
Just if I ever make a trip to Texas and visit and come in and see you in person, just take my CD off the wall so I don't see it on the wall, Shane.
There's even some socks up there and Randy's underpants.
How about if we stick a rebel flag over it?
Hey, I'm okay with that.
Good. That's good to hear. I don't think there's anything wrong with it myself, and I'm a Yankee.
I don't either. I think, it just depends on what your agenda is and what noise you want to make,
I guess. Well, I'm a Yankee, and I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it's to each their own, and, they served in the military just like the Union did, and I don't see any reason why people are making such a big stink out of it. I just can't quite figure that out.
It's almost like a cliche to people, but, it is heritage. It's a history.
Exactly.
And, to be where we are now, we had to go, or they had to go through that then. And to be where we are today, would you really want to go back and change anything and risk changing the course of our history and, something being different today because of it? I think people need to find contentment in life and where they're at. I mean, don't keep reaching for the stars, of course, but, those people suffered back then for what they had to go through. But
sure.
It's got us to where we are today, and I think we're making great progress just recently, so let's keep moving forward.
So many cities were burned, so many people were killed from both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense what people are thinking, and as a Yankee, we learned all that stuff. We were taught all, as much as they could tell us about the wars and everything, everything from Gettysburg to Atlanta and the whole 9 yards. And, back then, I and even over the years, I never once thought, boy, what a bunch of stupid people that was down in the South. I never heard of such a thing, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, as you get older, you realize we're all people, and we all sacrificed, and we all suffered for it. So let's just be proud of our past, and let's move on.
That's right. We're gonna we need to get things in order. My 11-year-old is in middle school now, and they're not teaching them cursive writing. They say it's by design because someday, they won't they won't be able to read the Constitution.
What are they supposed to do? Sign their name with an X?
Hey, you know what? There's so many people out there that would be okay with that. It's pitiful.
Oh my God!
It's not okay with me. Obviously, I think that. Anyway, I don't want to get into the politics of things because I might lose a fan or two, from the two or three I've got, But I like I say, I like where we're at right now, and I'm kind of excited about the way we're going. Hopefully.
If you could think of a song that describes the Yankee and the Brit, what song would it be?
It's crazy. Song that describes the Yankee and the Brit. Maybe that Donnie Marie song. That I'm a little country and he's
a little rock and roll.
yeah, something like that. I don't know. Or she got the gold mine and I got the shaft.
That's it.
Yay!
That's the one. Jerry Reed, way before Donnie and Marie any day.
There you go.
I got the gold mine, baby. I got the gold mine.
That's the song.
Oh, wait a minute now. If you think about that, shouldn't it be the other way around? I got the gold mine and you got the shaft.
Well, I thought a shaft is a dick, so I've got the gold mine and you've got the. Shut up, Donna.
Oh my!
See what you
started.
Cover
your ears, kids. Cover your ears, kids.
Hey, thank you very much. Appreciate it, Billy.
Yeah, y'all have a great evening. Thank y'all a lot. Thank you, Nisi, if you're still out there and hearing us. And hopefully Joe, my buddy Joe, was there, and my mom and my wife. I think they're all listening in. I'm waving.
Now you tell me after I say bad words.
I'm waving at the wall now, so I don't. I'm just maybe like somebody's going to see me. I said I invited all my friends to come on, and I think both of them showed up. So.
Well, there you go. I was going to tell you when you said that about your friends a few minutes ago was my buddy before he passed away. He used to tell me, I'd tell him I had a couple friends coming over to hang out with us, and he'd say, oh, yeah, if you put them both together, you have one good one. That's the kind of friend he was. Well, you take care of yourself, and good luck, man. I hope you hit it big here pretty quick.
Now, flush that toilet, Jane. Flush it. 3.
Yeah. See
2,
you guys. Thank y'all.
Yes,
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Flush it. Your choice for country music, the RTM Radio Network.
Maybe you're listening and not chatting.
Maybe you're plucking your eyebrows.
Maybe you're washing the dishes.
Maybe you're cleaning the toilet. But either way, it all goes down much better when you're jamming to the Yanki and the Brit on the RTM Radio Network.